Hi friends, you're tuned in to Legal Means Business, a podcast by Leeway. We're joined by some amazing guests who help us identify how to take your legal function and career to the next level. I'm your host, Steph Smith, and we're talking all things legal ops and legal tech, as well as other critical skills needed to help you thrive in the evolving in-house arena. Don't forget, you can watch us on YouTube or listen on the go through Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you enjoy the conversation, please do hit subscribe and let us know what you think on social.
I think it's a game-changing new infrastructure because it really helps you to automate operational legal obligations. It sounds like a cliche or like a science fiction, but instead of writing the agreement 200 times, you can literally code it and automate it using the blockchain. And the blockchain organizes all kinds of transactions. It could be tangible assets, buying, selling houses, cars, land. Could be intangible assets, buying, selling, giving away to charities, intellectual rights, software, whatever has a value. Mm-hmm. And then the idea is that in-house lawyers, we can try to identify the operational obligations that we would be able to automate with smart contracts. And that's why I believe it is a serious big deal for lawyers.
Blockchain has been around for well over a decade, and yet many in-house professionals still know very little about it. Gartner forecasts that blockchain will generate annual business value of more than $3 trillion by 2030, and it suggests that 10 to 20% of global economic infrastructure will be running on blockchain-based systems by the same year. With this in mind, it's becoming increasingly important for in-house lawyers, especially those in the tech space, to have an understanding of this often confusing technology and its implications. Thankfully, in today's episode, we're joined by Dr. Luis Sanchez de Lozad. Luis has more than 20 years' experience as a financial and corporate legal counsel in banks and asset management companies. And he is now Director Legal Counsel at asset management firm Unigestion. With a passion for legal tech, Luis invested a lot of time and energy into understanding the blockchain and its implications on the world of in-house legal. So, without further ado, let's hear Luis's introductory deep dive into blockchain for in-house counsel. Well, hello Luis, nice to have you on the podcast.
Hello, thanks for having me. Really nice to be here.
Oh, no, it's good. I've been looking forward to our conversation because I know we're going to be talking about something that is, a bit of a hot topic, but something that lots of people don't really understand that much about yet. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And as we were discussing, it's really not complicated. It's very simple. Mm-hmm. So once you understand, it's like really not difficult for lawyers.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. And it's important to start thinking about it now, I think, to give you time to digest and understand all the information. So I suppose, firstly, it'd be good to understand what sparked your interest in blockchain.
At one moment, that I've been working for asset managers for a long time, and I set up investment funds day and night, all kinds, all around the world, investment companies or partnerships. And at one moment, I realized that it was too much work for me, for my team, for all the fund controllers. all the people that work in operations. And at that moment, I started like being interested in ways to automate. And I realized that there was like a first step that everybody's trying to like do now, which is like really try to apply contract life management systems to their usual life operations and life negotiations, life contract. And then there was a second step, that is the possibility of automating all possible operational obligations. So we can discuss about that. And it was the best way to do that is using the blockchain.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. I have to say, I know a little bit about it, but definitely not as much as you. So it does sound a bit foreign and like this kind of new cool technology with a bit of mystery around it. So to begin with, it would be good if you could explain what exactly is blockchain.
Yeah. So I was very surprised also when I saw for the first time literally the blockchain on a screen. It was at the Oxford FinTech program at Said Business School, and the teacher, like a long time ago, he told us, okay, I will show you the blockchain. This is the blockchain. And I saw on the screen just blocks, like ledgers, 3, with 2 columns and spaces where you put data. And then the teacher said, okay, guys, I will sell you my watch for 100. Do you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree? Oh, yes, we agree. Okay, so to my first block, I will put 100, and the other 2 blocks will validate, and then it's done. The entire operation of purchasing or selling a clock, a watch, is done. And then that is why blockchain has this name. In reality, these are blocks that are interconnected and that are shared, which means that many people at the same time can have access to the same information, and it really helps to do things faster because everybody has the information at the same time in real time. So when someone, for example, is putting some very specific data in the blockchain, the others will validate and agree or disagree. And at that moment, on the blockchain, you have just a hash that is like an identifier. And this identifier will identify precisely the operation, like the data I just put in, 100 pounds for that clock or watch. And then if someone does not agree and put 150 in the other block, immediately you realize how the hash, which is a series of numbers and symbols, is changing because it is not the same operation. It is not validating that specific operation. But if everybody agrees, then each block is going to be connected to the next block by this hash, and all of them will start showing the same information, the same data, validated. And then it's like to have the title that has been transferred because it's registered and everybody agreed. So that is what blockchain is.
Yeah. Cool. So it's literally a chain of blocks that's linked together by this hash, or which is like a unique identifier, I suppose. Yeah. And then once it's validated, that can't be changed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and then that's why we always say that the blockchain is immutable. And also, a lot of people will hear that blockchain is decentralized and distributed. So if we go, for example, what does immutable means? It means simply that if I introduce like data with that precise hash, it will be data that will be immutable, because as we were saying, if someone wants to change it or to say that it's not true, the two transactions will be recorded anyway, and we will see that they cannot change it. And why is it decentralized? Is because there is this beauty of blockchain that allows several members or participants to validate the transactions by consensus. And then there is no central authority telling you that that is valid. In a bank, for example, it is the bank who tells you how much money you have on your account and how much money you withdraw, right? But in a blockchain, everybody, by consensus, is saying, okay, this is something that we agree. So all members will accept. And why is it distributed? It's more or less the same as decentralized. But the difference is that, why do we say distributed? Because the governance of a blockchain will be distributed among the members. So that's why we talk about decentralized or distributed ledger technology, so DLT. And that is the magic of a blockchain. There will be no main authority validating. And we will discuss after, for example, for decentralized autonomous organizations, how all members agree, for example, where to invest, what to buy, what is the best. And then my personal idea is that you can also have a blockchain system with a manager. Yeah. So, and how does it work? It's like there are public and private blockchains. A public blockchain, for example, the best example is Ethereum Foundation, well known, and everybody in the world has access. You open your wallet, you want to buy crypto, and you are a member.
Yeah.
Because you will receive your Bitcoin or your crypto, your art, your NFTs, or you will receive the token or this hashtag that we were talking about with the final transaction. And it is yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a public one. The difference with a private one, the private one is for business.
Okay.
The best example for me is IBM Hyperledger. So the private for business is going to be set up by one organization or one group of entities that want to set up a business like a private business. So not everybody will have access to the blockchain.
Yeah.
But we will have rather persons that will be from the private network. If I want, for example, to set up an investment fund, then I will only use people that I want, my investors and my services providers. But then I can go farther And blockchains are with permissions or without permissions. So, for example, I can give permission to everybody to get in a public, or I can specifically manage permission, and any member will need to be allowed to be there in a private one.
Cool.
And I can even go further, and I add restrictions.
Okay.
Yeah, in a private one, or even maybe in public, but in a private one that I know better, you can add, for example, a level of information that you want each party to have access to. Let's say that, for example, I don't want to give access to some things to my investors. It's fine. I will put restrictions to what they can see. They can see their own wallets. They can see their own, they can see the transactions if they want.
Yeah.
They will validate. But for an auditor, the auditor of the fund, or he will or she will be able to have access to everything. So they can really control the entire chain of transactions of the blockchain.
So, blockchain is an open, decentralized and immutable database that facilitates the process of recording transactions involving any sort of value, both tangible and intangible. To help you visualize this, think about how people can now communicate directly with one another through the likes of a phone call, an instant message, or an email. In this example, the communication goes from person 1 to person B instantly. Yet, when it comes to wider services, like financial services, people have to rely on a third party to complete their transactions, with the value travelling from person A to the third party to the person B. Blockchain challenges this approach and mitigates the need for an intermediary. So generally a business would have a private blockchain, and all the members who are validating the data inside the blockchain, I suppose, would likely be employees or auditors or some kind of stakeholder of the business.
Exactly.
Okay.
They are called nodes. And then one main difference that is very important today, because we want to save our planet from ecological destruction, is energy. These public blockchains, because there are so many people, it is difficult for them to find a consensus method. So what they use is many different types, but one type is the proof of work, so that we also hear very often. And this proof of work is someone that is going to have the technical and the human means to be able to solve very difficult mathematical problems, to validate the data, and then, because the others didn't trust other members in public blockchains, they will trust this one, because they showed that he could do it, and then the others will validate. But the problem is that the energy you need to solve the proof of work, and with the amount of people at the same time that are buying and selling Bitcoin or any other crypto or NFTs or art, or even now any kind of assets in the metaverse that we can discuss after. You really need a lot of energy. It's going to be electricity mainly. Yeah, in a private blockchain, permissioned, restricted, the consensus is very easy. Normally, you will give the possibility of a validator to propose to validate, or to have the responsibility to validate. So it is going to be like a kind of a manager, for example, in an investment company, in an investment fund. And of course, he will because he's kind of sponsoring the thing, he will be the one who will be validating the or proposing the data, and then the others will more easily validate. They don't need to solve mathematical problems, or they will just agree.
Yeah.
And the amount of energy is almost nothing.
Okay. It's almost like voting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's precisely like
Yeah.
that.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. And just in terms of, in practical terms, how would people be accessing the blockchain? Is it like a Google Drive or a server? How do you access it? If it was in place at your business?
You access it on your screen, and you are going to have a node, and the blockchain itself could be, for example, open source, and will be like internet, like a system that you can use. For private ones, you will have a fee, and then immediately you will be able to start programming, like coding, whatever you want in that blockchain, and the result will be like a normal screen, like very usual software on your at your office. I mean, in your desk, and you will be able to follow from there. There are other types of infrastructure that is also needed. So, for example, oracles. And oracles are databases that are outside the blockchain that will help smart contracts or the blockchain, we can see that after, to get some data to validate transactions.
Okay.
But that is a service of a service provider that you can just add as a node, or they will be able to send the data to the blockchain, or the blockchain, the smart contracts, will send the order to pay, the order to deliver to oracles or to very specific service providers and doing that, you are automating the entire process.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's cross-referencing and checking using a provider as well, which makes sense.
Exactly.
The name blockchain can help us understand how it works. Blockchain stores transaction data in blocks and connects them together to form a chain. Each block contains a digital fingerprint called a hash, as well as the hash of the previous block and a group of verified time-stamped transactions. Linking the blocks together using the previous block's hash or digital fingerprint makes it difficult for the order of the chain to be broken and helps prevent any block from being altered. Therefore, with every block that's added, the verification of the previous block is strengthened. And as a result, so is the entire blockchain. But to kind of solidify this in terms of what it means for lawyers and in-house legal, why is the blockchain such a big deal in the world of legal?
I think it's a game-changing new infrastructure, because it really helps you to automate operational legal obligations. So it sounds like a cliche or like a science fiction, but you can, instead of writing the agreement 200 times, you can literally code it and automate it using the blockchain, and the blockchain organizes all kinds of transactions. It could be tangible assets, buying, selling houses, cars, land. Could be intangible assets, buying, selling, giving away to charities, intellectual rights, software, whatever has a value.
Mm-hmm.
And then the idea is that in-house lawyers, we can try to identify the operational obligations that we would be able to automate with smart contracts. And that's why I believe it is a serious big deal for lawyers. As I was saying before, I think that the first stage where we are now is this idea that we are working with CLM companies, like legal tech companies, to have contracts that are not negotiated in Word anymore and death inert in PDF at the end of the negotiation, and then I have to go and look for the information I need, and I have to read the entire contract again. That thing is being done beautifully by companies like yours and so many others, and with so many possibilities that is like, it's a real pleasure to see how that is evolving. And the idea is that it will give machine-readable contracts.
Mm-hmm.
That simply means that the contract is not inert in PDF anymore, static, but you have all the information of the negotiation, of the data you tag you need, and then you will use that for a second stage. That is, okay, now I need to automate. What can I automate? Seriously, what can I automate and what I cannot automate? Whatever, any operational obligation that is like using more or less the code system is like if A, then B. Everything that is if A, then B, I can automate with smart contracts.
Yeah.
If you give me £100, I will give you my watch. And I don't need to write it again and on the template, and then I don't need to put your name anymore. I will just it will be completely automated,
yeah.
And I know exactly what I am doing, because that is extremely important. I really know everything is under control.
Yeah.
There is no legal risks, depending on how I set up the smart contract.
Yes.
And there are other obligations that are non-operational obligations. And those ones are more difficult to automate. They need like a best efforts of the party, or they need like a discretion, at the discretion of the general partner, or at the discretion of, and those ones, I think with time, we will start avoiding. Because I don't want to work more for nothing, so I will try to avoid them, and I will tell to the counterparty, let's try to put pure operational obligations in this contract, and if possible, directly in code.
Yeah. Let's
code the contract.
Yeah.
And so it is a big deal, because if the law firms, all kinds of in-houses will start doing it little by little, at one moment everybody will. And it's a natural process. Some people told me, but we don't want to learn how to code. How is it possible? I want to write my contracts. I am a creative artist of the law. It's fine, but there is this new approach that is the future, that can also help you to think differently. So you will not put everything that happens, that you, all your experience in one clause, but you will try to put 2 lines of code to do what you were doing before with 400, 300-page contracts, which is a real challenge, and it will take time, but at the same time, it is already there. I've been mapping around the world all people that are already using smart contracts to automate obligations.
Yeah, definitely. And it just makes sense, doesn't it? Because as you say, it's an evolution of the legal world, and specifically contracts, as well as, like you said, some people do still prefer to print a document and write on the document and make their edits there. But I know we certainly know when people have implemented Leeway, for example, and they're using a contract management solution, having all that data there, readily accessible, not having to search through individual contracts for data that they're looking for or a specific clause, it really makes all the difference in terms of how much time they're spending on those low value tasks, and they can reprioritize their time to things that are maybe more strategic or things that require their specific expertise, I suppose. So there's really a lot of value in this automation.
Oh, yes. So it is like data today is like, it's a big deal also. So I wrote a newsletter on LinkedIn on just metadata for smart contracts, and there are so many methods to gather this data you need. So as we were saying before, the best way is when you use a CLM solution software, but also some of them, they are already proposing at the very basic stage, and it's on a case by case basis, but they are already proposing, for example, to map with you the operational obligations, and just to see which ones they are easily automated.
Yeah,
as a second step.
Definitely. And just to clarify, what are smart contracts?
So, as we were saying, smart contracts are just lines of code. Because if we can add data to the blockchain, to one ledger, like I can add numbers, 100, I can also add programs, like lines of code. And it's just that. A smart contract is just that. Then the UK Law Commission opened the big doors for smart contracts. It was a remarkable work of the Commission, identifying or making the difference between smart contracts that might be binding or not, or they don't say if they are binding or not, and smart legal contracts. That's what I call them today.
Yeah.
To see that, just to say that the intention of the parties is to give, to have a legal relationship with that specific contract. So, and then that's why there are, for example, today traditional contracts that are written in human language, but the execution of the operational obligations will be in code. So that is the first possibility. The second possibility is hybrid contracts. You take all the operational obligations and you code them in smart contracts that will automate the transactions or the result of the operational obligation, and then everything that is not an operational obligation, then you just have it in natural language. So, for example, if you want all the definitions that we put at the very beginning, it's fine. You want to still leave like some discretion to the parties, or you want to still write very complicated clauses that you cannot code, then you can leave it in natural language, and then they are the same contract. So each one is going to refer to the other one. So they are the same contract, but in two different languages. And in one language, you are kindly telling the machine, the computer, in their own language that what you want to do. And using the natural language, you are telling to your counterparties what you want to do. And both are absolutely like compatible.
Yeah.
And there is the third possibility, that is pure code. So there will be a moment where everything is going to be in code. And
I'm sure that'll make some people a bit hesitant, but hopefully they have time to transition first.
Well, yes, of course. There is a lot of debate on the legal risks but so the UK Law Commission was very clear. First of all, they said that all the legal frame that we use for traditional contracts can be used without changing a word for smart contracts. A machine can send an offer or an invitation to discuss, and another machine can accept the offer officially, like saying, I accept, or a counter offer, because the machine is not happy. It's just the smart contract that is working there, and there is no communication or from humans. So machines can. And the UK Law Commission recognized that and showed in different examples that it is possible, that we already have it. And then all the formalities of a contract will apply to smart contracts. If possible, don't use, for example, pseudonyms, because it's going to be difficult to identify the one of the parties. Or you can still, add all the formalities that you would like in code. If the code is not self-explanatory enough, you can use comments. So, in the code. So, when you are coding, you can put whatever you want in natural language between hashtags, and the machine will ignore it.
Okay.
But at the same time, you are explaining clearly what was the line of the code above, and you will clearly say that the parties intend to give a proper legal application to that. And then you are explaining and you are creating binding comments, completely binding, like executable comments that are there, and you don't need paper anymore.
Smart contracts are an agreement between two parties in the form of computer code. They are digital contracts that automatically execute when predetermined conditions are met. They run on the blockchain, so they are stored in a database and cannot be changed. Generally, they're used to automate the execution of an agreement, so that all participants can almost instantly be certain of the outcome, without the loss of time or the need for an intermediary. Many governing bodies are beginning to acknowledge that smart contracts are legally binding agreements. So it's important for in-house lawyers to keep up to speed and learn all they can about smart contracts. And I suppose thinking about in-house lawyers and the more near term, what do you think are going to be the kind of biggest use cases that they'll be experiencing in-house in the next couple of years?
So what I think is that at the very beginning, in-house lawyers will use a lot blockchain applications first that will come from different services providers. For example, just signature of documents. You know, when you add a signature, like an electronic signature to the document, it's not only like adding your electronic signature, your PA will add your electronic signature to the document, but you need to be sure that there is a way to track that signature with the date, with the moment, and then also to have the perfect identity of the person who is signing and who is authorized. All that can be registered in the blockchain, and you don't need anything else. You don't need to send the electronic with the email and then wait for the other person to go on PDF and open them. So it's already there. We said we're not going to give like names of companies, but I'm sure everybody knows there are many.
Yes.
All around the world. Second example, KYC, AML, same, more or less the same. You can identify your own clients, and then once you've identified a client at one specific moment and date, you put it in the blockchain, and that's it. You don't need anything else. The debate is still if you can also put all the information your client gave you in the blockchain, like IDs, or you don't do it, and you just will use the tag of the blockchain to show that you are validating that specific KYC AML, and it's done. You don't need anything else. And examples like these are like, it's endless.
Yeah.
But for me, the main application is what we were discussing just before. Whenever you can automate in all kinds of in-house activities, whenever you can automate it, you can do it really yourself. You are the best person as a lawyer who knows exactly how it works. Very modestly. or you don't need to be a lawyer, you need to be a practitioner. Any practitioner, found contours, they really know how to do it. And that is our superpower.
Yeah.
We can't tell the coder how to do it, what we want to do. Of course, we need to understand a little bit what the coder is doing, and it will come. My theory is that we will start learning how to code in law schools. But again, it was like such a debate in my newsletters on LinkedIn. But we will get there. And once you have operational obligations, you will like it and you will try to do it more and more. And then you will get some budget from your CEO for using like more sophisticated external services providers, and I think the evolution will go by there, and it is not only blockchain, but it always goes with artificial intelligence. So we can get to full automation with smart contracts and artificial intelligence. There are already examples of, like, for example, fully algorithmically managed decentralized autonomous organizations. And the law in Wyoming, in the United States, the first law about decentralized autonomous organizations, recognize that you can set up a fully algorithmically managed decentralized autonomous organization that is like a company, or it's an LLC in Wyoming.
Wow.
And nobody's managing the company anymore. Smart contracts are. And then it's absolutely amazing the discussion about, like, very legal, philosophical discussion about what it will mean. Because, for example, that law tells you, that an obligation is to have you have to be able to modify the contracts at one moment if you need. You cannot let them be forever.
Yeah.
You have to be able to modify if needed. And also other considerations about the how members will, what would be the liabilities of members or a manager, or who's in charge is the question when smart contracts are literally doing everything.
Yeah, that's a great point. You're not wrong. It does sound like sci-fi at this stage, but obviously it's progressing so quickly. So we do need to have our finger in the loop and try and keep up to date a bit. In terms of the business impact of lawyers who are learning about the blockchain and understanding these concepts and how it can be applied in the world of in-house legal, what would that mean for business? What kind of impact could these lawyers who understand the blockchain have?
I think that it is a good idea to understand the blockchain, and not only the blockchain, but legal tech in general. I think we will become experts of legal tech, all lawyers, and naturally. Because once you get in the world of legal tech, you really like it. It is very difficult to say, well, no, especially if you start applying to what you do. So it really helps to manage better your data. That is a big point whenever you want to give a good internal service in-house. Like, your CEO asks you for, what was that interest we gave in, and you have to go and read the 200 pages, or someone needs to do it, and you will have this all this data there, and you will start thinking data driven. You will see how important it is for you, because you have more possibility to share this data, to give more information internally, and at that moment you are managing the legal operations, and you are telling more or less what they need to know to fund controllers and other people. I think that is extremely important. A second point is that I think that very soon lawyers will be hired by companies for how much legal tech they bring to the table. And not only for how much law they know. Of course, we need to know the law because we know with regulation, of course. But it's not only that. Today is not enough.
Yeah.
You just need to say, I know this way to do it faster, better, to have the data the board needs, and they will invite you to the board.
Yeah.
More often, or they will give you a seat.
Yeah.
I can automate a lot of things, and they will tell you, wow, really? Yes, I can. I know this to automate, and normally it works. I already did, for example. I don't know. Someone will say I already did.
Yeah.
So experience, and then, we will become very, very operational. Of course, I'm talking about business lawyers, corporate lawyers, because I know more about that. But I've been having discussions with all kinds of in-house lawyers, and even from charities that were telling me, let's automate distribution of electricity in Africa via using tokens, and everything is possible. And you know what, more or less, what to do, what they are doing, what a smart contract is, what a blockchain, private, public, permissioned is, and it's enough. If possible, if you understand a little bit of what a coder is doing, like it's not the first time that I have no idea, but languages, basic languages like Python, or you start, whenever you see someone coding, you start at one moment, it's like any other language, I think. So lawyers, sometimes they tell me, but we don't like much maths. You guys working in finance, you like more maths, but it has nothing to do with maths. You just is in relation to technology. And if you really want to know about theory of computing, like computing theory, then it's a real pleasure. It's almost philosophy. But you don't need to.
Yeah.
You just need practical things today that you can get from LinkedIn, like following the so many people, the legal tech community that you know so well. We are always there, like you, giving lots of content for free, podcasts, and there are so many things happening, and everybody's so generous. It's absolutely amazing how generous people are, and they give a lot of time and knowledge for free. Yeah. To push the movement, because they feel they are lawyers. So we are lawyers, and we have to. I mean, not only lawyers. I'm talking about practitioners, all kinds of practitioners that are with us: compliance, fund controllers, operations. We are in the same thing, and we want something else, and that's why they do. You know very well all these people. For example, people like artificial lawyer.
Yes.
Giving so much in real time information about legal tech. Yeah. Is crazy, and it is happening in France. So many new legal techs, fintechs, literally, and it's happening everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
Definitely.
Literally, the entire world, even Africa or Latin America, they have their own. So it's extremely interesting to follow.
Yeah, and I think you're right. LinkedIn is probably one of the best places to keep up to date. And one, because you can access this content for free from some great thought leaders in the space. But also, as you said, it's real time. So you're accessing it without any friction between it being made into a book, for instance, or anything like that, because no doubt it would be out of date by that point anyway. But so yeah, exactly. Following people on LinkedIn and publications like Artificial Lawyer is a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So one day, for example, they were asking academics, professors of Stanford. We were in a seminar and they were asking, how do you get all this information about blockchain, about artificial intelligence? And they were saying, from Twitter. I just try I have to trust the source. Mm-hmm. You're not going to go to with anyone, but once you realize that the source is trustable, is good, is professional, then is enough. Even on YouTube, you have so many tutorials about blockchain for introduction to blockchain, or already how to code in blockchain, and for free.
Yeah,
absolutely for free. There is one, for example, that is a 16 hours non-stop course on how to code in the blockchain, smart contracts. After 16 hours that you can stop and then come back and continue. But after 16 hours, you say, I think I know a bit more now than before.
Yeah. And the more things you automate in your legal function, the more time you have to spend learning these things and preparing for the future as well.
Precisely. It is exactly what I always say. You automate as much as you can, and then you have time to think about how to automate the next one.
Yeah.
Or to learn how to code.
Yeah.
Or to spend time with your family.
Exactly. That's the thing. You don't want to be stuck in the efficiency loop of becoming efficient just to bring in more tasks. It's rejigging what the role of the in-house lawyer might look like. So, it now seems obvious that in-house lawyers should understand the blockchain and its implications. The first step is education. To learn more and stay up to date, there are a few things that you can do. Firstly, you can follow trusted sources and people on social media, most likely on LinkedIn. Secondly, you can access free expert and educational videos on YouTube. Next, you can listen to podcasts like Legal Means Business that covers trending topics such as the blockchain. Then, you might want to explore the blockchain for yourself, whether that's trying a meeting in the metaverse or buying an affordable NFT or cryptocurrency. The more you read, listen and explore, the more sense the blockchain will make, and the better you can advise your business and prepare for the future. I guess just to finish up, that's a great point actually. How do you see the blockchain and legal tech more generally impacting the day-to-day roles of in-house lawyers? What might be their main focus and what might their day-to-day look like?
Yeah, so I think that as we were saying before, the main part is to become more data oriented. So lawyers, in-house lawyers, will use better data. Mm-hmm. They will stop negotiating and with a Word, Microsoft Word and PDF, and they will start using machine readable softwares that really give you the possibility to use all that rich data of your contracts, and to have statistics and to see what you did good, what you didn't do that well, and why, and then you really learn about yourself and your teams and even the entire company. And sometimes also you learn a lot about the counterparties and also about your own law firms that you use, because they are connected. So we are working with them every day. And you also start thinking more operationally, which is the dream of all, like for example, when you work in big banks, the CEO wants to understand what the bank is doing. Not only that you know by heart, like MiFID II, but how to apply it. How does it work, like in reality? You cannot go with theory in reality. And for me, too much wording on a contract is kind of theory, and 2 lines in a code that are doing what you wanted to. It is reality, and for example, if many things will change, as the UK Law Commission was saying, for example, the standard of interpretation of code of smart contracts, the code of smart contracts, would be what would a reasonable coder do here?
Yeah.
Or think about or interpret.
Yeah.
And it's not a reasonable person anymore, but it's a reasonable coder. And of course, even judges will need to start a little bit understanding more. They are already doing it. Like they know a bit about crypto and Bitcoin, and because they are starting having cases like in the UK, in the US, even in other countries around the world, like for sure. So I think that is the main impact in our lives as lawyers. And as we were saying before, I think that the lawyer who knows a bit more about legal tech and how to organize more efficiently what he's supposed to do or to write will be hired faster than someone who said, well, I don't want to, I will still be on paper, and it is an absolutely natural process. So no need to panic or to say, oh, what do? I need to go and learn how to code. It's natural. What I did is that I started like watching videos, following LinkedIn. You open your wallet on Ethereum. You buy some crypto. You see how it works. You go to a metaverse. But you create your avatar, and then you see, okay, so what is that? Oh, wow, it's interesting. And then you see, I don't know, big stores selling already goods, and you realize that they are just registering the tokens in the blockchain. So, and they tell you, and you learn, and you are living with your time.
Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely great advice, because it can be so easy to think that it's really overwhelming, which I completely understand it can be at first. But the more you read about it, the more you hear about it, the more you try it out, the more comfortable you can become with it. And it can be easy as well to think that the blockchain, you might be spending a lot of your time working out the blockchain as part of your in-house role, but the idea is that it will make your life easier. It will free up your time to focus on things where you can add more value. And of course, diversify your role as an in-house lawyer too, so you can perhaps take on that more strategic work. And as you say, maybe work closely with the board, providing them with the information that you now have at your fingertips. So that's all really exciting. And yeah, lots to learn, no doubt. But you've kindly shared some links as well, which we can share in the bio of the podcast as well. So we can share that as well.
Absolutely, yes.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, such an important topic, and it's coming whether we like it or not. So it's good to keep up to date and try and progress our knowledge on the blockchain and legal tech more generally. So thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me, Steph. It was really nice to talk to you, and we will keep in touch.
Yes, definitely, and we'll encourage everyone to follow you as well, so they can read your newsletters and of course learn more.
Yeah, and hoping that sometimes, some people told me that in some parts of my newsletters were too complicated, but maybe after this introduction, they will be able to understand a little bit more some things that are sound a bit more complicated in my news.
Yeah, perfect. Exactly. Lots of different nuggets of information will hopefully create some clarity. So thank you.